much, and welcome to NPR. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here. It's a special day for me. Today's actually my second anniversary at NPR. But the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy holds a special place in my heart because I had a wonderful visit to Berlin this past summer, where we had a fantastic event at the Institute, and Berlin itself is very special to NPR because of NPR Berlin. It's interesting that NPR Berlin is actually the only radio station. This is the source of probably a lot of misconceptions. Is the only radio station that NPR runs. The fact is, what NPR is, that you may or may not realize, we are a news organization and we are a membership organization, and our job is to create news and information programs that we distribute to stations all over the country. More than 900 stations in the United States air some form of NPR programs along with other programs from other distributors and some of their local programs. We reach just about every single person in this country has access to over-the-air broadcasts of NPR news and information programs. Our two most popular programs, our most listened to programs, in fact, they are the most listened to in the United States news programs, are Morning Edition and All Things Considered. Morning Edition is our morning drive time program. All Things Considered is our evening drive time program. Unless you're in Berlin, in which case All Things Considered is actually the morning program, and it gets all mixed up with time zones, but we won't get into that now. We have there are almost 34 million people in this country who tune in to an NPR member station every single week. Our audience has grown almost 60% in the last 10 years. This is very, very unusual for those of you that following the media industry in the United States in terms of what is known as legacy media institutions, which is newspapers, television news, and radio. We are really the only ones that are growing both in audience and, according to a recent study by Pew, which does excellent work into research of audience, we are the only news organization in this country who has seen substantial increases in trust over the last 10 years. So we are very proud of the work we do and the place that we hold in this country in terms of the news media. We cover everything. We cover science, an area that many news organizations have stepped away from. We cover the arts. Of course we cover politics. Of course we cover business. We cover religion, another beat that is not very much covered in the United States by many news organizations. And of course we cover foreign affairs. We have 17 or 18, now I'm confused. 18, thank you, Kevin. Our expert is here. He's going to speak to you in a second. We have 18 full-time bureaus outside the United States. This is more than any other broadcast entity, American broadcast entity. No one has as many full-time foreign bureaus as we do in broadcast, which, on the one hand, we're certainly proud of. We always like to be the best and the biggest. On the other hand, it is disappointing. I will speak now for myself as a member of the media and as someone that lives in the United States, how little foreign coverage there is, and how many news organizations, unfortunately, are stepping away from foreign coverage. We are committed, not only despite the fact that others are stepping away, because it's a very expensive endeavor, but because others are stepping away, to continue to cover the world, to maintain a presence in the most vital spots in the world. Certainly we have a number of full-time bureaus in Europe, but we also have a full-time reporter in Afghanistan, Pakistan, Baghdad, Jerusalem, Cairo, Turkey, India, 3 in Africa, 2 in China. Anyway, Kevin can give you more detail. And of course it's not enough. We should have more, and that will be an area we will look at to expand in the years to come. Primarily, we are a radio organization. That is the way most people know us. That is our heart and soul. It's who we are. We are radio people, and that's where our largest audience is. But of course, we want to make sure that we reach people with our news and information however and wherever they want it, especially when it comes to foreign audiences who may not have access, like Berliners do, to NPR broadcast over-the-air radio, although we are distributed in other parts of the world. And so we have expanded and have a very robust presence on our news and information on the web, on npr.org, via our member stations, each of which has their own website, on Twitter, on Facebook, on the iPad, on the iPhone, on Android, and whatever device comes along, we will certainly be there because we are a not-for-profit, mission-driven organization whose role is to provide news and information to people so that they can be better informed and make decisions about their lives and to participate actively in society. That is why we're here. We're not interested in profit. We are interested in reinvesting, raising money to reinvest to expand our journalism. So that is NPR in a nutshell. And I know that you have an incredibly exciting day of all kinds of speakers. So I thought I would, I'm selfishly glad that I could begin your day by speaking a little bit about NPR and particularly the role that the media plays in cultural diplomacy. The media is the megaphone for the news and information and the actions, words, and deeds of public figures. We cover them objectively and toughly, and that's our job, but it is a critically important part of who we are. So that's really all I wanted to say today. Kevin Beasley is here from our foreign desk who can talk in great detail about our foreign coverage. Before I turn it over to Kevin, because unfortunately I'm not going to be able to stay with you all this day, sounds amazing. I wanted to see if you have any general questions about NPR just for a moment or two, and then I'll turn it over to Kevin. And if not, there's a question.
Okay. Here, I'll pass the microphone. If you could briefly introduce yourselves as we did yesterday, that would be great. And if you could stand also, thanks.
Hi, Naomi Light from the USC Center on Public Diplomacy. My question is, what is your foreign audience? Like, what's the distribution? How many listeners around the globe do you have?
I don't think we actually know the answer to that question, do we, Svetlana? I know our you just come up and speak in the microphone. This is Svetlana Stepanova.
And partially I work for NPR Worldwide. And we cannot estimate our foreign audience because the formats that we distributed over satellite and cable mostly. Therefore, we can only say that so many subscribers take the satellite services. So we can say when most of the continents in the world, and we can estimate that we have about 175 million audience abroad.
Thank you. Just to be clear, 175 million people have access. That doesn't mean they're necessarily. We hope they're all listening, but we can't verify that. Somewhere probably south of 175 million. Any other questions? We probably have time for one more question if there is one.
Good morning. My name is Julia Imbriaco. I'm from American University. I'm really happy to be here. I guess in today's starting yesterday, the changing political climate in the United States, and in this time where media is just increasingly partisan, how do you see NPR's role, and what is your mission statement in regards to maintaining fair and balanced? To use a well-known term.
Yeah. Well, I'll avoiding the fair and balanced expression just because it's taken, and I don't want to be accused of any kind of trademark infractions. We do not take any partisan position on the news. Our job is to cover the news so that people can make their own decisions. We recognize that there's diversity of viewpoints, ideologies in this country, and we want to provide the facts so that people can come to their own judgments. That is our position. That does perhaps increasingly differentiate us from a lot of media out there, but that's our mission, and that's who we are, and that's how we will remain. Okay, with that, Kevin, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.